There was a boarding school named St. Andrew's Anglican, located in the city of Nuku'alofa, on the shores of the Pacific Ocean. The school was very strict, and it was a place where discipline ruled every aspect of the children's lives. It wasn't just a place to learn. It was a place that demanded obedience and shaped their every move. But for many students, the school's strict rules were hard to follow. They struggled to adjust and often felt frustrated. This strict environment made it tough for them to feel comfortable and fit in. There was a group of 6 close friends: Mano Tota, Sione Fitavo, Stephen Kolo Fekitoa, David Fifita, and Luke Vicoso, who shared an unbreakable bond within the strict school walls. They ate together, laughed together, supporting each other through every challenge. One evening, as the boys sat together, talking and sharing stories, one of them suddenly asked, "Why don't we just leave? What if we escape this place?" At first, the idea seemed impossible, and they laughed it off. But soon, the thought took hold, and one by one, they agreed. Maybe it was time to find their own freedom. They decided they would steal a boat from the seashore and sail toward Fiji, or if possible, even reach New Zealand. As planned, the boys quietly slipped away from the school by late afternoon. They hurried to the shore, found a boat, and without wasting any time, set off into the open sea. As the waves carried them further away, a sense of freedom washed over them, leaving behind the school's strict rules as they drifted into the vast ocean ahead. The boys felt truly free for the first time. Excitement filled the air as they sailed into the unknown, believing their adventure was only just beginning. They carried only 24 bananas, a few coconuts, and a single gas burner with them. They thought they could catch fish along the way to eat as they journeyed through the sea. It was going all fine until the night, when the boys were all asleep. The weather suddenly took a terrifying turn. Strong winds began to howl, and huge waves rose up from the ocean. Their boat was thrown around in the rough waters, and the boys lost control. The sea had taken over, and their exciting journey was now slipping beyond their grasp. However, after some hours, the ocean finally calmed down, and the waves became gentler. But the boat's engine wasn't working properly, and they began drifting across the vast ocean. The boys were exhausted and weak, unsure of what lay ahead. Days began to pass, and the food they had carried was over. They used to store rainwater in coconut shells, and they only drank one sip in the morning and another in the evening. 8 days passed, and on the 8th day, they spotted an island nearby. The boys worked together to steer the boat toward it, using all their strength and determination. However, as they got closer, the boat hit a large rock and crashed, breaking apart completely. With their vessel destroyed, the boys swam to the island, eager to find safety and hope on solid ground. The island they found was Ada Island. As soon as they arrived, the boys took a moment to rest on the soft sand after their long journey. Once they caught their breath, they started to talk about what to do next. Some boys began looking for ways to make a shelter, hoping to create a safe place to stay. Meanwhile, others ventured out to explore the island, searching for food. They wondered if they could find fruits or anything edible to help them survive. But no one knew how to survive in a situation like this. They started making holes in trees, using sharp stones and sticks, hoping to collect rainwater to drink. However, it took 4 to 5 days for each hole to fill up completely. It was a slow and difficult process, but they knew it was their only way to stay hydrated in such a desperate situation. They started rubbing 2 wooden pieces together, hoping to create enough friction to spark a flame. They knew that fire was the only thing that could help them survive on the island. It took them several days of trying, and they finally succeeded in making fire. They used to catch 2 or 3 seabirds every day and roast them over the fire to eat. This gave them much-needed nourishment during their time on the island. 6 months had passed, and still there was no sign of rescue. The boys survived only on the birds they caught and the rainwater they collected. Each day felt like a struggle, as they adapted to their harsh reality, relying on their resourcefulness to stay alive in the wilderness of the island. Sometimes the boys would cry, and sometimes they would argue among themselves. But no matter what happened, they always found a way to come together again. They used to explore the island, hoping to find any resources or items that could help them survive. One day, while Stephen was trying to catch a seabird, he slipped and fell from a height. His cry for help echoed through the air. The other boys quickly rushed to his side and lifted him up. He had hurt his leg badly. They gathered leaves from the ground and carefully wrapped them around his injured leg, creating a makeshift bandage to protect it. As Stephen rested, the boys decided that he wouldn't do any work until he was fully healed. They all agreed to take care of him, ensuring he had everything he needed to recover. One day, while exploring the island, they stumbled upon an abandoned village that had been completely destroyed over time. While searching through the ruins, they discovered a small patch of vegetables and even found some chickens roaming around. This unexpected find gave them a sense of hope, as they now had more food sources beyond the seabirds and rainwater they had been relying on. They didn't kill the chickens right away. Instead, they fed them and let them live so they could lay eggs. The boys relied on those eggs for food, but whenever heavy rainstorms hit and they were in desperate need of more sustenance, they would have no choice but to kill a chicken for meat. This way, they tried to balance between survival and preserving their food sources. This became their food cycle for many days, as they struggled to make the most of the little they had. Days went by, and one day, the boys decided to build a small boat using pieces of wood they found on the island. After much effort, they set sail, but soon after entering the water, the boat broke apart. Fortunately, they hadn't gone far from the shore, and with luck on their side, they swam back to the island, relieved they didn't drift into the vast ocean. A year passed, and the boys had come to a harsh realization. They understood that being rescued was not just difficult, but nearly impossible. They had lost hope of ever being found and had accepted in their minds that they might have to spend the rest of their lives on this island. Keeping this in mind, the boys began building a permanent shelter on the island. They also started a small vegetable garden and focused on boosting the chicken population. By this time, they had more than 200 chickens, providing them with a sustainable food source. They used to exercise and play games like badminton. After spending 15 months on the island, their lives were about to take a dramatic turn in the coming days. An Australian seafarer named Peter Warner had set out on an adventure. After completing his journey, he was heading back to his hometown. As fate would have it, he was sailing very close to Atta Island, completely unaware of the incredible discovery he was about to make. Peter's crew noticed smoke rising from the island and began to grow suspicious. As they discussed what it could be, they suddenly heard someone shouting. One of the boys had spotted the ship from a distance and was calling out as loudly as he could, hoping to be rescued. The sound of the boy's voice echoed across the water, catching the crew's attention. As the ship approached the island, all the boys jumped into the water and swam toward it. They kept swimming until they reached the ship and climbed aboard. The boys shared their entire story with Peter, telling him that they had been stranded on the island for almost 1.5 years. Shocked by their tale, Peter wanted to make sure it was true. He immediately radioed the authorities in Tonga, sending a message to confirm the boys' identity and their incredible survival on the island. "Hi, Captain Peter Warner here. I've just found 6 boys who've been missing for 15 months after escaping from a boarding school. They've survived on a remote island. Can you confirm their identity with the authorities?" "Yes, they're the ones who've been missing. Thank God they're alive. We all thought they were dead after so long. This is incredible news." Peter took all the boys back to Tonga, where they were reunited with their families. The emotional reunion was filled with joy, as their families had long believed the boys were dead. Seeing them alive after so many months brought an overwhelming sense of relief and happiness to everyone. The boys, once lost at sea, were now safely back home, embraced by their loved ones. But the boys' problems didn't end there. They were arrested because of the boat they had taken. The owner of the boat had filed a complaint, leading to their unexpected capture. Peter Warner came up with a brilliant plan. He approached the boat's owner and asked him to withdraw the case against the boys. He promised the owner that he would shoot a documentary with the boys and assured him that any money earned from it would be given to him. And surprisingly, the owner agreed. The boys were reunited with their families. From this story, we learn the importance of resilience and teamwork in the face of adversity. Despite being stranded for over a year, the boys' determination and resourcefulness helped them survive and ultimately find their way back to safety. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.